Welcome back, everyone. We're diving deep into Japandi design today. I've been poring over this article, Japandi interior design, a serene fusion of Japanese and Scandinavian aesthetics. It's fascinating
Oh,
stuff.
definitely a hot topic right now.
Yeah, and we'll be unpacking all of it from those surprising cultural connections to like how Japandi manages to be minimalist but still warm and inviting. We're even going to look at how this style is evolving, which is super cool.
It really does seem to tap into something deeper, this yearning for calm and intentionality in our spaces. It's more than just a passing trend, I think.
Totally. It's like we're all craving a sanctuary from the daily craziness, and maybe Japandi holds some of those answers. But okay, seriously, the thing that totally blew my mind was the cultural connection between Japan and Scandinavia. I mean, geographically, they're so far apart.
Right. Yet they share some profound values. It's remarkable how two cultures with such distinct histories can find common ground in their reverence for nature, their love of craftsmanship, that sense of functional beauty.
And those values are so clearly expressed in the core principles of Japandi. Like, take wabi-sabi, for example. The beauty of imperfection. It really resonates with the Scandinavian idea of lagom, balance, moderation. How do these philosophies actually play out in a Japandi space?
Well, picture a rustic dining table, hand-hewn from reclaimed wood. The knots, the grain, those little imperfections, they all tell a story. They add character. Or imagine a single sculptural branch artfully displayed in a ceramic vase. That simplicity, the emphasis on natural materials, that's pure Japandi.
So it's not about striving for that sterile perfection, but more about creating a space that feels organic and lived in.
Precisely. True beauty lies in those imperfections, the subtle variations, the way things evolve over time.
It's such a refreshing perspective. Okay, we've talked about the philosophy, but what are the actual design elements that define a Japandi space?
Nature is front and center, for sure. We're not just talking about adding a few houseplants here and there. It's about using those organic materials, wood, stone, bamboo, rattan, and showcasing their inherent beauty. The grain of the wood, the texture of the stone, even those knots and imperfections.
So you're not trying to hide those natural variations, you're actually highlighting them.
Exactly. It's a celebration of nature's artistry. And biophilic design plays a big role too.
Biophilic design.
Yeah, incorporating elements that connect us to nature, like plants, green walls, even those little indoor water features.
So you might have a moss wall in your living room or a tiny Zen garden on your desk.
Exactly. Bringing the outdoors in not only looks great, but also makes you feel good.
Right, like a little spa in your own home. Okay, speaking of creating a sense of calm, what about the color palette? What are the typical colors you see in a Japandi space?
Think tranquility. Warm whites, soft grays, gentle beiges, earthy tones like oatmeal or clay. It's all about visual harmony.
So, a pretty big departure from those bright, vibrant colors you sometimes see in interior design.
You're not likely to find neon pink or electric blue in a Japandi space. The idea is to create visual restfulness. Let the colors blend seamlessly instead of competing for attention.
It's like a visual exhale. We've talked about embracing natural textures, using a muted color palette. What about the furniture itself? What makes a piece of furniture Japandi?
Clean lines, simple forms, and a focus on functionality. Picture a low-profile sofa with a sleek, minimalist frame, maybe in a light wood like oak or ash.
And is there like a favorite type of wood?
You see a lot of oak, ash, sometimes a lighter walnut. Woods known for their lighter color, that delicate grain. The finishes tend to be natural or matte, to let the wood grain shine through.
So you're letting those materials speak for themselves. Now I'm curious about texture. With all those natural materials and neutral colors, how do you keep a Japandi space from feeling too cold or sterile?
That's where layering textures comes in. Imagine a linen sofa with some textured throw pillows and wool, or a chunky knit blanket draped over the arm. A woven rug, maybe jute or sisal, can really ground the seating area and add that tactile dimension.
You're stimulating both of the visual and the tactile senses.
Exactly. You're adding depth and interest without relying on bold patterns or bright colors. And that attention to texture extends beyond just textiles. You might see walls with a textured plaster finish or flooring made from wide plank wood with a really prominent grain, which adds warmth.
So it's about creating a space that's cozy and inviting while staying true to that minimalist aesthetic. We've covered nature, color palettes, furniture, and texture. What about accessories? Do those even have a place in a Japandi space?
Absolutely, but they should be chosen very intentionally.
So instead of cluttering surfaces with knickknacks,
Right. Every item should either serve a purpose or add to the overall aesthetic. A single, striking ceramic vase on a tabletop or a hand-woven basket that doubles as storage. Those are great examples.
So it's about choosing items that spark joy and add that personal touch. Now, the article you shared talks about how to apply Japandi to different rooms in the house. I'm really interested in exploring that further. Should we start with the living room?
Sounds good. The living room is often the heart of the home, so it's a perfect place to start bringing in that Japandi serenity. Okay, so imagine this. You walk into a living room. It's bathed in soft, natural light, coming through linen curtains. The walls are this warm off-white. The floors are wide plank oak, a nice natural finish. There's this low-slung sofa, maybe upholstered in natural linen, and a simple coffee table. Reclaimed wood, a live edge adds a touch of rustic elegance.
I feel more relaxed already. What about lighting? You mentioned how important that is in Japandi.
It's all about setting the mood. Instead of harsh overhead lights, you want layers of soft, diffused light. A few paper lanterns hung at different heights create a warm glow, and maybe a sleek floor lamp, an ashwood base for some focused light.
Amazing how much lighting can impact a space. Now, Japandi is about minimalism, but can a living room still feel personalized?
Oh, absolutely. It's not about having a totally bare space. It's more about curating a few meaningful pieces. A hand-thrown ceramic bowl on the coffee table filled with smooth stones, or a piece of minimalist artwork on the wall, something with a nature-inspired motif.
So one statement piece instead of a whole gallery wall.
Exactly. And don't forget textiles. A few textured throw pillows on the sofa, a chunky knit blanket, even a woven rug with a subtle geometric pattern can add visual and tactile interest without being overwhelming.
Okay, so we've transformed the living room into a tranquil haven. Let's move on to the kitchen and dining area. How does the Japandi approach work in those spaces?
Functionality and a connection to nature are key. Think cabinetry with clean lines, minimalist hardware, maybe light oak or birch, and open shelving. You could display a curated collection of ceramic tableware or some beautiful glassware.
I love open shelving, but I also know I'd need to be super organized.
That's part of the beauty of Japandi, right? It encourages mindfulness. It makes you think about what you really need and value.
It's a gentle push towards simplifying, living with less. What about the dining area? How would a Japandi dining table and chairs differ from a more traditional set?
Instead of something heavy and ornate, picture a simple, sturdy table. Solid wood, maybe with a natural finish, and chairs to match, or in a complementary material. Clean lines, ergonomic comfort, those are the priorities.
I can picture it now. A delicious meal with friends and family, bathed in candlelight. What kind of lighting would you recommend for a Japandi dining area?
Pendant lamps and natural materials are always a good choice. Rattan, bamboo, or sleek, minimalist fixtures with a soft metallic finish. It's all about creating warmth and encouraging connection.
Okay, so we've got a serene living area, a beautiful and functional kitchen and dining space. Now, how about the bedroom? How can we transform it into a true sanctuary for rest and relaxation?
Imagine a bedroom where calm and tranquility are the focus. The walls could be painted a soft, muted color. Dove gray, pale green, something soothing. Low-profile platform bed, light wood, simple headboard, takes center stage.
I'm picturing myself sinking into a pile of luxurious bedding right now.
Speaking of bedding, natural fibers are essential. Crisp linen sheets, a fluffy down duvet ethically sourced, of course, and some textured throw pillows in calming colors.
Luxurious simplicity, love it. Would you have much furniture in a Japandi bedroom?
Not necessarily. Japandi emphasizes intentionality. Only the pieces that serve a purpose or enhance the space. A simple bedside table on either side of the bed, maybe a small bench at the foot, a comfy armchair for reading.
That dedicated reading nook sounds amazing.
And for a truly peaceful vibe, add a few carefully chosen accessories.
I'm thinking a vase with a single branch or a little tray for essential oils and a candle.
Perfect examples. Or a small piece of minimalist art, something that evokes a sense of calm. And of course, a stack of your favorite books on the nightstand is always a good idea.
All right, we've created a bedroom retreat. But what about those of us who work from home? How do we apply Japandi to a home office or workspace?
The key is finding balance between functionality and serenity. Think of a light wood desk with clean lines, minimal hardware. Pair it with an ergonomic chair, comfort and style.
Can't focus if you're uncomfortable.
Exactly. And instead of a bulky desk chair, try something with a natural wood base and an upholstered seat, modern and functional.
That's a great idea. It really embodies that Japandi aesthetic. What about storage? How do we keep our workspace tidy without sacrificing style?
Japandi loves concealed storage. It helps minimize visual clutter. Built-in shelving, drawers with minimalist hardware, even stylish baskets you can tuck under the desk.
A place for everything, even if it's hidden away. What about those personal touches, though? How do we make a workspace feel inspiring?
A few carefully chosen items can make all the difference. A small plant on your desk, a framed quote that inspires you, a few of your favorite books on display.
Those little details make a big difference. We've covered so much ground in this deep dive into Japandi, from the philosophy to specific design elements for different rooms. But before we move on to practical tips in part 3, I'm wondering, how do we make Japandi feel truly personal?
That's a great question. Japandi provides a framework, but it's important to make it your own. Some people might want to add a few pops of color, maybe a blight piece of art or a patterned pillow.
So it's not about following strict rules, it's about using Japandi as a springboard for your own style.
That's it. It's all about creating a space that feels harmonious and authentic to you.
We've explored the essence of Japandi, from its cultural roots to the specific design elements. But let's get practical. How can we actually bring this style into our own homes?
It's easier than you might think. You don't need to do a complete renovation. Often, a few well-chosen changes can make a huge difference.
I love that idea. Where would you suggest someone start if they're feeling inspired but maybe a little overwhelmed?
Decluttering is always a great first step. You know, Japandi is all about intentionality, living with less, surrounding yourself only with things you truly love or need.
It's amazing how freeing it can feel to let go of things you no longer use or enjoy. So once we've decluttered, what are some concrete steps we can take to incorporate those Japandi elements?
Take a fresh look at your space. Are there any easy swaps you can make? Maybe you have a brightly colored rug that you could replace with something more muted, a natural fiber like jute or sisal. Or you could switch out a fussy lampshade for something sleek and minimalist, linen or paper.
It's about refining and editing, not necessarily adding more. We talked about the importance of investing in quality furniture, but what if someone is on a tight budget? Are there ways to achieve that Japandi look without spending a fortune?
Absolutely. That's one of the great things about Japandi. It works on any budget. Thrift stores and online marketplaces are amazing resources for finding secondhand furniture with good bones. You can refinish it, reupholster it, give it a new life.
So it's about being creative, seeing the potential in those pre-loved pieces. What about DIY projects? Are there any simple ways to add those Japandi touches without breaking the bank?
DIY is a perfect fit for Japandi. That handcrafted touch, it aligns perfectly with Japandi's appreciation for craftsmanship. You could make your own minimalist artwork using natural materials like wood or stone, or try some simple macrame wall hangings with cotton or linen cord.
Those are great ideas. It's such a mindful, creative way to personalize your space. Now, you mentioned some online resources. Could you share a few of your favorites for finding inspiration or sourcing furniture and decor?
Oh, definitely. Pinterest and Instagram are amazing for visual inspiration. Search for hashtags like hashtag Japandi, hashtag Japanda style, hashtag Japanda interior. You'll get lost in all the beautiful ideas.
I know those rabbit holes well. So many creative people out there. What about for shopping? Where would you suggest people look for those Japandi-inspired pieces?
Etsy is a fantastic resource. You can find so many handcrafted pieces with that Japandi aesthetic, from ceramics and textiles to furniture made by independent artists. And for more modern and minimalist designs, Article and Muji have great selections that embody those principles of simplicity and functionality.
Awesome. So many great resources. I'm feeling inspired to start incorporating some of these ideas into my own home. As we wrap up our deep dive into Japandi, what final piece of advice would you give to someone who's excited about this style but maybe a little hesitant to get started?
It's a journey, not a destination. Start small, experiment, don't be afraid to make mistakes along the way. The most important thing is to create a space that feels authentic and joyful to you. Trust your instincts and have fun with it.
That's a great reminder. It's not about perfection. It's about creating a space that nourishes your soul and reflects who you are. Well, thank you so much for taking us on this deep dive into Japandi design. It's been fascinating and inspiring. And for our listeners, we hope you've enjoyed this journey into the world of Japandi. May your homes be filled with serenity, beauty, and a touch of that Japandi magic.